Hey listeners, exciting news. Talk to Me Michele podcast merchandise is now available. From our signature bucket hats to travel mugs, coffee mugs, stickers, and more. Visit buymeacoffee.com/talktomemichele to get yours today.
Talk to me, Michelle. On the street lights on the corner. City vibes got a story. Feel the beat, don't ignore me.
Welcome to the final episode of Season 1 of Talk to Me Michele. It's already 20 episodes in, and it's been quite a journey this first season. We've talked about dating, being an autism mom, navigating friendships, women's sexuality, and of course that great conversation with my dad. In this last episode, I'm taking you on a journey with a tarot card reader known as Healing Hoodz. Now I know some of you might be thinking, wait, didn't you already share your spiritual journey with us? Yes, I did. But I also want to expose the different sides of finding peace. Now, I met Healing Hoodz through a connection with comedian JP. Now, I was first questioning, how are you connected with JP? But I'm glad that we had a chance to get an introduction through him, and I'm grateful for it. My sister and I were recommended to take spiritual baths from her to remove some negative energy and to cleanse ourselves. And let me tell you, it worked wonders. It really did. It worked wonders. So much that I did it for 2 weeks straight. Now, I have to share with you guys, after we recorded this interview, my sister and I joined one of her live sessions, and our mother came through with some powerful messages. Now, if you don't believe it, that's fine, but I do. And this woman didn't know anything about our struggles or us. So yes, I definitely believe. This is why this is going to be such a great conversation. So sit back and enjoy.
Hi, everybody. Hi. Good evening. Love, light, peace, and blessings to everybody.
I'm honored to have you on. I really wanted to talk to you because I know your specialty.
Yes.
It hits home. When a lot of people are taking your lives, it hits home.
Right.
But I want you to, first of all, because everybody think they could buy a deck of tarot cards.
Right.
And if I learn every card, I know what's going to land and what it means.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it is a learning experience.
So we all have the gift. This is one thing that I said and I explained to everybody. We all come from God, and this gift to be able to connect with spirit and the Holy Spirit and be able to get some type of message or advice or something for us, to lead us to our purpose. I do feel we all have it. It's all about your mindset and how how you take it in. With tarot, I tell everybody when it comes to tarot, anybody could sit because it's easy access. Tarot was created in the early 1400s as a deck of cards of playing for the elite. And it wasn't until the 1800s that tarot was really taken in as a tool to sit and use to communicate with spirit. But the elite people used to use tarot just to sit and mess around and pull it out to sit and get some type of encouragement, when it came to their life. Anybody could sit and pick up a deck of tarot. Anybody could sit and learn tarot, the definition of the cards, and learn what it is that it represents. But I always tell people, make sure your mental health is correct as well, because you are working with entities, you are working with spirit, you are working with energy. There's so many different words for what it is that you're working with, and you have to have the right mindset. You have to have more of that inner self knowing to sit and be able to mess with something like this, to sit and know that if you believe in God and you believe in the devil and saints and angels, and there's demons, and you got to cleanse, and you got to make sure you're mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally ready to sit and really trust within yourself and what it is that you see and feel when you're going to communicate a message to somebody, because these people are really depending on you with their life.
Exactly. And I take it seriously because, when you are on a journey and you're trying to get in contact with all the right people to put you on the right
Hmm.
path, and there's so
Right.
many damn scam artists out here that,
Yes, there are.
randomly message you. Well, I got a message from your ancestors and your mama told me to call you. So
Hmm.
it's that
Hmm.
kind of situation. But
Right.
people should understand the intuition as well as the types of readings that are given via tarot cards.
Tarot is the most popular. Like when it comes to getting a read, tarot is like the most popular read, that most popular type of reading, that people really come to get. But everybody has their own vision when it comes to the tarot cards. I took tarot, and when I started tarot when I was young, I wasn't as open as I am now. But when I started, I really took tarot as for me. I didn't start tarot as for me to do reads on other people. I said,
Right.
I want to take these cards. And the first cards that I had, mind you, they were the Native American tarot cards. And I didn't know shit about it. I didn't know nothing about tarot. You understand? And as I started messing with the tarot, I was confused. I didn't know what was going on. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to sit now as, again, a spiritual person that overstands energy. I said, I don't want to mess with nothing and call on something that I'm not supposed to. Before I sit and keep fucking with it, excuse my language, but that's
You
just,
good?
before I keep messing with it, let me make sure I'm doing things correctly. And I started studying, between going, Barnes and Nobles is an amazing bookstore. And when I heard one year that they was closing down, when I tell you, I sat in front of my altar and I said, don't close them. Please let it just keep opening, because a lot of the knowledge I got from Barnes and Nobles, you find a lot of stuff in Barnes and Nobles, dictionaries, Google, of course, but you got to make sure. And when you find things on Google, you got to sit and look up the things you found on Google as well sometimes. But started, Google wasn't really around. I had to sit and look for people. I had to go around and find people, walk into different spiritual stores and ask elders questions and find my spiritual family. And as I grew up, finding different people and them teaching me and showing me stuff. And the one thing that hit me with tarot is overstanding the definition of the cards, but is also overstanding when spirit is trying to show you an image, right? Sometimes I could look, like I could see, let's say the Ace of Pentacles comes out, and I'd be like, this is not making sense. Why would the Ace of Pentacles come out within this story? But if they want me to pay attention to something in that picture that's gonna sit in a
Hmm.
line with you, so
Yeah.
it's a lot that comes with any type of reading. There's any type. If they do Reiki, if people use chamalangas, which is like, it's coconut shells, it's 4 coconut pieces. Is a lot that is a lot that comes with it. Some people are very clairvoyant, and some people just go off of energy. So anybody could sit and do it. It's just about who you are and how you sit and you accept it.
And I'm glad that you tapped in on that because sometimes you'll have your own intuition. Like I don't know if this one's valid, but
Right.
my validation is pretty much on point.
That's right. And I'm a reader, I'm a reader. You understand? I sit and I tap into you guys' life. And just because I'm a reader doesn't mean I don't have one. You
Right.
understand? Because I have my one. I'm gonna be honest with you. I only have my one, which is my godfather. You understand? And let me give love, light, and peace to my godfather. Whenever I'm going through anything, I don't go to anybody else. I don't let just anybody prophesy over me. And again, sometimes I'll be off for myself and I'm like, Padrino, I need you to sit and help me. There's been many of times where I've done readings and I'm like, I don't know, there's something not right. I can't get into it. If I need help, I ask for help. And I go to my godfather because I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. You understand what
Right.
I'm saying? That
Right.
nobody's perfect. And there's still a lot of, I could be 50 years old and I'm still going to be learning new things because this is so ancient. This is way before our time. So
Way.
it's a lot.
Mhm.
It's a lot, but it's very it builds your confidence in so many ways when you sit and you tap into everything.
I think I came in your live one day and you was just doing a general reading.
Right.
And when you tapped in on me, I was like, because I was pissed today. Matter of fact, I was pissed the day I came in your room, and it was no energy towards you. It was just some nonsense I had
Right,
dealt with,
right.
and I
Yeah.
was And you were just like, wait a minute, I'm feeling something. I said, damn, I must be really pissed because she can vibe. She can
Yeah,
vibe what's
right.
going on.
Yeah, I felt, that's real quick. This is what I tell people also. I'm a spiritual reader, and I read people over technology. I read people through Instagram, through a phone, through StreamYard. If I could do that, imagine what your enemies could do. You understand? So if I could feel when there's negative energy, I could feel when the energy is shifting. I could feel when somebody joins my live, and there's been many times where if I've had to stop the general read, and I'm like, oh, let me tap
Wait a
into
minute.
you. Is it is it okay that I read you? Because when you came in, whoever was walking with you just smacked me like, help her, help her, help her. So it's
Thank you. I was pissed. I was pissed. But go
and
right
she
ahead.
was angry. She was
Yes.
angry. And I was like, ooh, okay, hold on. And then, of course, I asked permission because I understood that, Rocky and Michelle have their own spiritual advisor. So I've always asked permission first before I sit and I read anybody. Even if I'll give the advice, but I tell them, please make sure you go to your spiritual advisor and just get the confirmation before anything. Because again, we are all family and we all trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And with Michelle, I tapped into her, and
Ooh.
you know, it's been a wonderful journey.
I just hate it. I mean, I already knew of you and we were following each other, but at the same time, I'm
Right,
like, damn, I didn't want to come in the room and just jack up all the energy, but I
right,
appreciate
right.
you taking the time to,
Of
walk me
course,
through that because I was just like, yo, I'm about to catch a charge out here. So I'm so glad that you was able to tap in.
of
But
course, of course.
let's discuss the purpose of spiritual readings and what people seek from them.
What I believe in is what is the Yoruba culture, right? I believe in the Yoruba culture. I believe that there's many different type of cultures, religions, and spiritual, houses and stuff that said it comes from Yoruba. And I do believe in Ifa. I do believe that when there's a time in our life where we don't know which way to go. I believe I go to Ifa. I go to a prophet. I go to a prophet and I tell this prophet, like, I ask this prophet, can you help me? And that's what I do. And that's what every spiritual person that's out here, honestly, I must repeat it, that's out here doing this honestly and serving more than what they get paid for, and really want people to sit and get their life together and find their purpose and heal from past trauma, from trauma that they're going through now, and even get a little bit of advice of some trauma that could be coming. Is That's the purpose of it, to sit and do our best to lead you to the water. And the main thing about that water is when you drink it, you getting to know and you aligning yourself with God. Because this
Yeah.
is all to sit and lead everybody to your happiness, to your peace, to your purpose, but also to teach you. We do come from a higher source. We are of God. He is the creator. No matter what you call him, it doesn't matter the name you call him. Those names are just him in different languages and different tongues. He's we God. Our faith in God comes before anything, and we have to sit and have that faith in God, and we have to honor our ancestors, because we won't know what we know, and we won't even have what we have if it wasn't for them.
Yeah.
So the whole purpose of coming to us is to lead you to your purpose. So when you become an ancestor, you're remembered as well.
Amen. And I promise you, it's an interesting journey because I never really knew. Because I know when I talked to spiritual, I got her background that her gift was, with her since
Right,
childhood.
right.
So, did you have a similar experience, or how did you
Yes.
know that you had this gift?
I was really little. I was definitely a cartoon girl. I was a quiet little girl. My mom always says when I was 5, 6, 7, just give me my box of Honey Nut Cheerios and turn on the Saturday cartoons. You won't hear my mouth. I've always had like this vivid imagination. So there was times where I would wake up and I would see things in my house, and I'm a little girl. Shit, that's my imagination. I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna play it with my dolls or whatever. But then
Mhm.
as I got my first experience with a deity named Legua was when I was 9 years old. This was a year after my dad transitioned, And I always used to see this old man that walked around the apartment that we was in. Nobody never really believed me when I said it. Oh, that's your imagination, you crazy. And then of course, growing up on my mom's side with Jehovah Witness, they practice Jehovah Witness. It conflicted a lot. So I would see things. I was always seeing things. I would see this old man just running around the apartment. Um, I will see another energy or somebody there, and I will get. I don't hear. This is what I don't hear. Like I hear certain things, but it's more things like I hear the voice in my head. I'm not crazy, but it's just that's how I get my messages, and I will hear this very militant man tell me. Tell somebody not to sit there because they're gonna fall. And if I sit and I say, "Don't sit there," you're gonna fall. Where you get that? I heard it. Oh, you crazy? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Cut that shit out. And then they sit on the chair and they fall. There's
Hey,
nothing that I could do.
not
I
like you
told
didn't
you.
want them. Yeah, you
You
told
know,
them
I
so.
told you. So that right. So that's when I started, noticing things. Then again, after my dad died, I was introduced to the deity of Legua, to where at the time my stepfather, his brother, I was raised up in a whole bunch of different cultures. So it's like I want to get to the story, but then it's like to understand, to my stepdad was a Freemason, but at the same time his father was Hebrew. So it was so many different things that they would sit and tap into. And then my step uncle out of nowhere just comes with these black and red beads and says, listen, somebody said that Tuti needs these. My nickname is Tuti. My nickname is Tuti. So, or Tuti needs these. And they placed it in my room. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I saw him standing at my front door. I was scared. Yes, I was scared. I'm young. What the fuck is this? You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? But as I grew up learning who he was, I understood why he was standing at my door. He's protecting me. They said I needed him because I needed the protection. And then once I learned, that's when I started tapping in. And then I also have my Aunt Millie from my mom's side, who's my grandmother's sister. She was a santera and also a palera, and she told me a lot about my mom, listening to her about my mom. And when it came to the Yoruba religion, and she was the one that really tapped into, and she would tell my mom, this one, this one right there, and of course, growing up being scared of not, I feared it because I was like, yo, I'm Jehovah Witness. They teach you, and there's all this other stuff. My dad, my grandmother, my dad's side, he's black, but she was Baptist, and it's the
back
going
and
like
forth.
this, back and
Hmm.
forth. But I've always, since small, even in school, my mom can even tell you, like, if it didn't make sense, I'm not rocking with it. It has to make sense for me to rock with it. And from very young, 9 years old, I've always been very spiritual because the things I used to see, and even going to see therapy, even psychiatrists trying to put me on medicine, and I'm like, nope, I'm not doing it. I can't
Yeah,
do it.
yeah,
And I was a young mom. I got pregnant at 16, and overstand. At 14 was when the first time I really started getting initiated into stuff and learning more. And another way of communicating with spirit is getting mounted. That was the first time I got mounted. And then the second time at 14 again, my mom had a spiritual event happening in the house, and there was a drumming going on, and I got mounted. And what the spirit told my mom, she's gonna get pregnant at 16, and
mm,
overstand the baby's gonna have complications, and all of this stuff is gonna happen. But they said she's wise. We need her to have this. All of this has to happen. And I had my son. And at 16 was when I tapped in even more. I was like, yeah, y'all want me to have this kid. You know what I'm saying? I got pregnant. You guys want me to have this kid. What did you want me to do? And here I am, 37 years old. My kids are amazing. I have 5 kids, and the knowledge, I don't use this for cars. I don't use this to grab a nigga. I don't use this for that. I use this for knowledge. you know, I want because you have people out here that think that they could come to certain spiritual people, and people are gonna sit here and say, "Oh, you want to control." Don't come to me with that. That's
yo,
not what I do.
my
It's
girl
spooky out
spiritual
here.
says the same thing, and I don't, and this is just my personal belief. I don't understand why, if you are attracted to somebody and they're not attracted to you, why would you would give up the free will of theirs
All
to
right.
cast a spell? And I don't want nobody. I got to brainwash. I got to do
I don't
voodoo,
want
hoodoo.
that. And
I don't want
is
that.
what's the purpose of that? There's no
Right.
purpose of it. And not only that, God gave us freedom of choice. And God has made a promise, and He doesn't even force us to love Him. What the fuck makes you think You have the power to do that. I tell everybody and anybody and everybody that does that, I go, you don't know what you're working with. And you're working with some real crazy entities to sit and turn people into a zombie. You're not allowing, you don't have no right to sit and control anybody's life.
Right.
You don't. And
Yeah.
I don't, I tell everybody, they're like, oh, what you got your stuff? Well, I got my stuff because as I have them and I have my stuff, it forces me to learn what it is, learn who they are, overstand their experiences and my experience in life, combine it with theirs. You know, again,
Yeah.
I believe I strongly honor my orishas, which is another word of saying saints. I strongly honor my orishas. I honor my ancestors because if it wasn't for them billions of years ago being created and on this earth, we won't even have these laptops. You know, there's a creator for everything. There's always something, and so there's something is always created, and I honor my ancestors for that. And is I want to learn them. I want to learn these people that were here before, what they went through, because a lot of these ancestors that we honor are a part of our bloodline.
Yeah.
I love to sit and tap into the historic, not excuse me, the history of my clients and my collectives as well, because it helps you understand you and what you're going through now. You know, I'm not an astrologist. I'm not. I do know some when it comes to astrology. I do learn how to combine certain things, and it's like you guys are my collectives, and I just want you guys to get better. You know, that
Yeah.
like that's the whole moral of it. The whole moral of this is to get better, is to overstand. I don't force nobody to sit and do anything that I do. If you're interested, I have no problem sitting here teaching you and showing you what it is that you want to learn. If I don't know anything, overstand. I got a crew that's behind me that's gonna sit and let me know what it is, so like that we could help you. You know, and this is a beautiful thing. I tell everybody, spirituality is a beautiful thing because we're not forcing you to sit and do anything. We're just giving you a
Mhm.
message. The same way when you go to the altar at a church and you sit and you bow and you clap and you praise that pastor to sit and give you the message. We just don't sit and have you. We don't tell you to come to church. We just sit and say, this
Yeah.
is the word.
That's one
This
thing
is
I
the word.
love about spirituality. Because, like I said, I've was exposed to church. My sister and I both at a young age. Now we knew at a young age this ain't it. So when we got
Right,
into our spiritual path, it's just a
right,
lot better. I still got my connection and love with God, and
right,
I have better intuition. That's one thing I will definitely say.
right.
My intuition has
And
gotten
I
so
don't
much
want
better.
anybody to sit and think that I have, because people could sit and take your words and do stuff, you know.
Yeah, right.
I don't knock off churches because I have been in churches. I was raised in kingdom halls, churches, Baptist church, Catholic church. I've been in churches with really good people,
Hmm.
overstand, really amazing people that these pastors and deacons and ministers are busting their ass, working real life and making sure that their community is good. Those are the ones that you really don't see. So I don't want nobody to sit and think that I don't believe in. When I feel, you know what, there's something in my spirit that wants me to sit and step in a church, and again, this is me, this is not everybody what they have to do, but if something in my spirit says, yo, step into this church because there's something that you need to hear, I do it. I'm not saying I'm
Yeah,
gonna step into this church all the time. I'm not saying I go to church every Sunday. If I do go to church, it's probably once a year. Overstand. But I want people to know I don't have anything against the church. I don't have anything against anybody that figured out a tool to sit and communicate with us to lead us to God. Just do it honestly and respectfully.
right. And I don't have nothing against people who do attend church. It just
Hmm.
wasn't a fit for me. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that's I mean, so hey, as long as you praise, go ahead and
I just
praise.
want people to understand what it is that they're doing and understand that knowledge is everything. You know, knowledge is way better than luck. And if you're going into a church, know why you're going to the church. Understand what the church definition is, why that church was created, who's running the church. Get the history of it so like that you don't fall into their rituals or their little things that they're trying to sit and do when it comes to the church. You know,
Yeah,
get your knowledge first. Learn when the pastor is speaking a word and there's a language or a word that you don't understand, that language is, you have all rights to sit and look it up and question that pastor. Say, pastor, you understand what happens with a lot of the churches and a lot of religions, they don't want you to question, is what they said and that's it.
yeah,
Spirituality, we don't move that way. We truly believe that there's truth in everything.
yeah. And that's why I love the path I'm on. With this natural gift, did you have to do any training or additional education as you
Yes.
start to build your clientele.
So when it comes to Palo Mayombe, when it comes to Santeria, Lukumi, which I'm initiated in Palo Mayombe. I've been scratched in Palo Mayombe in since 2017. Uh, and what that comes with is you receive your initiation. Is very sacred. There's a lot of sacred stuff that happens because this is your life. A lot of people shouldn't know what you're doing with you. Nobody should know your defense. Nobody should know your defense. So it's a very sacred, how you can say, it's a very sacred coming together that happens. So I did mine in 2017. I'm in the process now of going and getting my initiation in Santeria. But within the years, I had to sit and communicate and do community work, going to different spiritual houses, helping with spiritual events. We do spiritual masses, where it's a spiritual gathering, and we sit and we pray. And there's a whole bunch of other readers there, and a whole bunch of santeros or paleros or high priest or high priestess that are there. We're coming together for a person to heal them. Some people get paid for it. Some people sit and do their community work. So that's a lot of community work that you have to do. Within the community work, you align with elders. The elders sit and you sit. I want to learn from you. They teach you. It's
Yeah.
different. It's so many different. It's just like school, and you got to go to different classes. You got to go to science,
Yeah.
social studies. It's the same thing when it comes to learning spirituality. But when it comes to working the spirituality, when it comes to working deities, doing your prayers, when it comes to different rituals and stuff like that, there's a lot of knowledge you have to do. But at the same time, you have to go within.
Right.
You have to
Right.
go within, your knowledge and what you learn, when we holistically, many of us spiritual people are holistic healers. We love to work with herbs. We love to work with nature. We sit when you learn the herb, and it's not learning like, oh my God, it can, sometimes it might just come to you, but you have to sit and read history of where all of this is coming from, why they sit and they used it, what was it that made them sit and use this as a way of healing. There's journeys, there's many different journeys, because it's, again, in spirituality we believe that there's truth in everything. So if I believe that there's truth in everything, and I want to sit and learn Buddhism, I have to sit and go get the knowledge and even practice it to even understand what it is.
Right.
And
Right.
then there's some many spiritual cultures, even religious culture, that they will sit and tell you you're not allowed. And as a spiritualist, I have to respect it.
But I know along this journey, getting educated, what were some of the challenges you had to face during the journey?
Many of the challenges was the false prophets. I think that was like the main challenges that I had to deal with. I dealt with a lot of elders who I felt were very knowledgeable, but they wasn't using this for good reasons. They will sit, in this world that we're in, people could pick up on your energy. People could pick up on your gift. And sometimes you can meet an elder and your gift is just maybe just as powerful or just above them. And they want to sit and reel you in. I'll give an example. When I did my scratching for Palo Mayombe, my godfather at the time, me and him were very cool. He says, I see it. I see your longevity. This is what you have to do. And I'm not going to sit here and say the stuff that he was saying was not correct, because, again, when I did my scratching and I followed the rules and that I needed to do, look at where I'm at now. I cannot complain. I'm grateful. But who he was, it didn't rock with me anymore, because now he felt like you initiating me, yes, and I have this respect for you, and but you're just my elder. We're still human.
Yeah.
We're still the same age. And the whole realm of the reality, you got your bullshit, I got mine. You
Right.
understand? And I had to deal with a lot of people that didn't really want to help me. They just wanted to use me. So that's that's one of the biggest challenges that I had to deal with, even as a little girl, because even as a little girl at 14 years old, I may not know a lot, whatever, but when I spoke to spirit, you felt like you was talking to a 60-year-old person. So a lot of people would be like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? And that was one of the biggest challenges. Another challenge is the name calling, the people not understanding what it is that you believe. And people, I've gotten beat up, I've gotten jumped, I've gotten into a lot of altercations to where I was told I need to be dressed in white when I was little, because I got to protect myself, because I'm gifted and I'm walking down the street and people are making fun of me, calling me a nun, and I got to punch you in the mouth because I was young. And that's just that's just what it was. And then when you sit and you get into the reality of things, Oh, she hit me. Now I gotta sit and I gotta defend myself. So being called a demon, I was called demon child. I was called devil worshiper. I'm called witch. I've been threatened. Right now I'm in the process of trying to figure out how could I hide all my information, because we've been hunted for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, especially our people, because the
Hmm.
Europeans don't want us to know our stuff. So when
Right.
we sit and we get and we tap in and we're here telling people this is what we gotta do. We're leading you to your purpose. They don't like that, especially this is very
Hmm.
therapeutic. And if somebody comes to us and we're like, baby, for you to move on and for you to get to where you need to let go of this.
Yeah.
This person is not what's blocking you. This is the energy, family, friend, foe. You have to release it. This man is not doing good for you. Many of us readers will have gotten tapped into where it's like your nigga's cheating on you and you have to stop. Okay, this is not good. There's nothing that I could sit and do. No matter how much I try to change the energy, spirit is like, no, leave him, leave him. So we go through those things, and then it hits, of course, the collectives end up finding out the truth, and then the person that was doing the harm, the person that was doing the wrong, will sit and threaten us. I'm gonna kill you, bitch, or they actually will. I'm gonna find you. We have people. This has been going on for years, for thousands and thousands of years. So we that's the one of the challenges of a spiritual person that chooses to sit and move by faith,
Yeah.
and move by what it is that makes sense to me, and mainly knowledge and what makes sense and that I have facts on, because I
Yeah.
don't like to talk on things, and I don't argue, because a lot of people see me as a very I argue and stuff like that, and it's like I get it, I do. But overstand, I'm arguing on something that I feel and I know I have the facts on. I'm not going to argue with anybody and I don't know. So we have these people, we have these people, and it's not all, but we have that they attack us. So that's a challenge that we have to deal with as well, as a challenge.
That was just the first portion of the interview. Now, if you want to see the full conversation, head over to my YouTube channel and subscribe. The full interview is over an hour long, and you don't want to miss it. It was a pleasure having Healing Hoodz on the show. Be sure you follow her social media on Instagram, healing_hoods. That's HOODZ_corp, CORP. And book a reading with her for this fall because her schedule is filling up fast. Thanks again for you guys tuning in to another episode and for being part of my first season. Don't worry, I will be back with season 2. And when I tell you I've got some great conversations lined up, you will not be disappointed. I'll be back the first week of September. So in the meantime, you can always revisit season 1. And don't forget, if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you can watch the interviews live for season 2 before I convert them to audio for your listening pleasure. If you like the show, I would really appreciate your support on Buy Me a Coffee. It helps keep the great content coming, opens up more opportunities for some amazing conversations with special guests. So you can support the show at buymeacoffee.com/Talk to Me Michele. Also follow me on social media with the same handle, Talk to Me Michele. It's on all platforms. So everybody enjoy. I will see you next season. Peace.
Talk to me, Michele.
Hey there, Talk to Me Michele listeners. We'd love to hear what you think about the show. Got some feedback on our latest episode? Or maybe you have a topic you'd love to hear us dive into. Whatever it is, we want to know. Give us a call and leave us a voicemail at 832-463-0525. Your thoughts and suggestions are what make this podcast even better, so don't be shy, let your voice be heard.